Do you ever feel like your offer's just vanished into thin air, or maybe the agent hasn't actually presented it to the seller, or perhaps even you've presented it and you've not gotten a response? These are questions that I'm getting weekly from buyers at the moment, and there seems to be a ton of frustration out there, but also a lot of misinformation around what should be done and what is expected, etc. So I'm going to clear that up today and hopefully give a bit of clarity to buyers and to agents as to how things should be done. And I apologize if I look tired in this, because I have filmed this 3 times and didn't realize that my PC was full from all the filming we've been doing, and therefore it didn't save the last 2 versions. So back at it again. We're going to start with the agent's code of conduct, and it sounds boring, but it's the thing that regulates us as agents. So there's 3 things that we need to reference, and that is clause 5, which talks about a duty of care and working in the seller's best interests. So obviously you would assume best interests equals giving all information, pretty self-explanatory. If we're talking about point 7, that's got to do with acting honestly. I don't think I need to break that one down. We should all get that. And number 27, which is probably the most important one because it relates directly to this, is communicating offers to client. That's the title name. When acting for a client, an agent or sales representative must communicate each offer to the client as soon as practicable after the offer is made. Practicable is always a word that gets me for some reason. I don't know why, but anyway, that's what you need to do. So ultimately, they need to write up your offer or take the offer in some way to be able to present it to the seller. So whether that be an online platform like Rezo or Open, or whether you submit it even via an email or whatever you do, they have to take your offer and they have to provide that information to the seller as soon as practicable. Apparently I was stressed. I'm knocking this thing over. So that's what has to be done. Now, before you grab your pitchforks and go hunting for real estate agents, something else you need to know. And that is that sellers, when they receive this offer, whether it be in writing or verbally, and just to clarify, it can be either of those things. Personally, I think it should be in writing just to keep everything above board and not lose anything in translation. But ultimately, they can accept your offer, decline your offer, counter your offer, or most importantly, do absolutely nothing with it. They don't actually have to give you a response. Like, the agent has to work in the seller's best interest. The seller doesn't need to work in yours. And I've heard all weird and wonderful things like the seller has to respond within 48 hours. They need to give me an answer, or my offer's locked in there and I can't make an offer on something else. Just to clarify that, and agents may not want you to know this, but when you make an offer, it is not binding. It is not binding until the seller has actually signed it, and then it's been communicated to you verbally or in writing, preferably in writing. So don't feel that you've made an offer on something and that you're trapped. Understand, you can withdraw your offer whenever you want, as long as you do it in writing with a timestamp, so that way it can be recorded. So if they come back to you 5 minutes later, say, hey, it's been accepted, congratulations, you're like, too bad, man, I've withdrawn that offer. There's an email with a timestamp. Sorry. So understand that. If you are putting offers on properties, try to resist the urge to put the whole like, you need to give me an answer by 5 p.m. or within 48 hours and all that kind of nonsense. I get it. Like, you're trying to put pressure on because you're trying to get a result from agents that seem to be just all la-di-da and playing a game. Like, I completely understand it, but you need to put yourself in the seller's shoes as well as the agent's shoes. You put pressure on me as an agent and say, hey, you've got till 5 p.m. today to respond. Good for you, man. Like, there's probably 100 other inquiries that I have and anywhere from 10 to 15 other offers. They're not just going to counter offer you and give you a response and ignore everyone else. Like, it's just not going to happen. But understand that there is a way to put pressure on, right? There is a way to get a result faster. And what you need to do is plant the seed of doubt in the seller's mind that no matter what happens for the rest of the campaign, they're not going to get an offer this good again. How do you do that? Put simply, you have favorable conditions that the seller is keen on, but most importantly, you hit a price that absolutely knocks it out of the park, like literally sets an area record. They have to think, there's no way we're getting an offer this good again. I'm not willing to let this one walk. and basically lose it because we may not be able to replicate it. That's the only way in this market in Perth right now, 2026, that you are going to get your offer accepted early. Am I suggesting you pay well into overs to get the property? Not necessarily, no. I don't think that's a wise strategy unless that property must be yours at any cost. If it's the house that you've seen and you can picture your family in and you can afford it, and you're going to be there for a decade or longer, and literally it's everything that you want. Like in this market, I hate to say it, but throw the kitchen sink at it, man. Like just get the deal done if you need to. But if it's not, obviously I wouldn't recommend overpaying for something that you don't really or 100% want. Then just get clear communication from the agent as to how they're going to handle the sale moving forward, so you know how to play the game that they've set up. Now, if the seller isn't giving a response and you're an agent, communicate that to buyers. Like actually say, guys, this is what's happening. This is what the seller has said. And this is a roadmap on how I'm going to try and handle things, so they feel like they have confidence, they still have a shot at the property, and they're going to have an opportunity to get an offer in at the time around when the seller is going to accept. There are so many buyers that I'm meeting that literally don't get a call or miss the communications to be able to make an offer, or perhaps they didn't get communicated with at all and they just see it go under offer. I've even heard of buyers a lot making offers on properties and the agent's just simply not calling them or SMSing them or anything to say whether they were accepted or declined. They see it go under offer, like, did we buy that? I don't know, like they didn't say no. Maybe it's ours, maybe it's not. Like, agents, just communicate. And agents, if you have a seller that is holding off and not responding to buyers, it's one of two things. One, the seller is highly optimistic in regards to what they want to achieve, perhaps bullish in nature, and they just want to keep pushing the market and see where it goes. You haven't educated them well enough before you listed the property. You probably listed it and appealed to their greed to get the listing, and you didn't want to say no, and now you're stuck trying to manage their expectations. Make the call, educate them earlier, potentially lose the listing, take it on, and educate them as you go, or set up a campaign that is structured. That means at the end of the campaign, they're going to be able to sign off on an offer confidently. I can say hand on heart that all of my sellers, when they sign a contract, know it's the very best that's out there. And I've set that up intentionally with systems and the processes that I use, so they know that there's nothing left on the table by the time they sign it off. There's no backwards and forwards, it's just a done deal. So if you want to talk about that, hit me up. I'll take you to coffee and I'll show you how I do it. Like, it's all good. But just make sure that if your seller isn't communicating, understand whether it's you and you've not given them the information they need to make a confident offer, or if it's them, and just own it and communicate it to the buyers and give them a runway as to how things are going to proceed. So hopefully that's not too much of a rant and it's actually helpful information. Just to clarify, if you want to give an offer to an agent, do they have to write it up or take it in a way that they can present to the seller? Yes. Can they withhold it from the seller? No, they cannot. Do they need to respond to you within a certain time frame? No, they do not. Do they need to respond to you at all? Technically, no, they don't. They can just let you sit and you stay or you go, whatever you want to do. But best practice, guys, we have a duty of care to buyers. As well as we have to work in sellers' best interests, we have a duty of care to buyers as well. Just communicate with them, be clear with them. Like, at the end of the day, we're all trying to get the same thing done. Maybe we just all work together to get there. And if you're a buyer, be the buyer that an agent or a seller wants to deal with. Don't be the one that's pushy and trying to manipulate it to suit you. Like, work out how the agent wants to handle it. Play the game, do the thing that you need to do, and just do your best to come out on top at the end of it. Or throw the Hail Mary early and try to take it off the market. That's all I can suggest. But guys, if you have any other questions about property, leave them down in the comments below. I'm happy to make a video on it and share. If you disagree with what I said, or you think I'm referencing the wrong things, or I've got it wrong, drop it down in the comments. I'm happy to have a chat. I'm happy to be schooled if I've said the wrong thing. But hopefully I've given you some more insight and some clarity so you know what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, what's true and what's not. My name's Jeremy Shirazi, and I look forward to seeing you back here or out there. Peace.